Okay, I'm just going to record that. I'm going to record that. Jared, where have you been?
I was delayed.
I've been living in what's called real life. In real life. While I've been slow pushing out content here on YouTube and on Instagram, I have been optimizing my teaching business this year, trying to bring my absolute best to my students who are my main priority. And while content creation is definitely something that has my heart, and I love YouTube and Instagram and doing all this stuff, I just have only so much of me to go around. And in addition to optimizing my teaching business, I've also been optimizing my live stage setup with a couple of new iterations. I've got a new pedal board that I've built that is working fabulously with some drama there. That'll be fun to talk about. And I have dialed in my in-ear rig thanks to the good folks at Xvive Audio, which is the subject of today's video. Xvive very generously reached out into my DMs and were like, hey, do you want to try our U45 in-ear monitoring wireless unit? And I'm like, does a one-legged duck swim in circles? Slide it into my P.O. box, my dude. And they did, and I'm a happy lad for it. So here's a situation that I end up in almost every weekend. There is a church that I love playing at. They're amazing people, but their in-ear monitor system is a little bit weird in that they send an XLR cable with a little headphone amp that's about yay big with a belt clip on it. And you hang that on your trousers and you plug your ears into it. And that's it. There's a volume knob, and that's how you get your monitor master volume. They're running it on like an SQ5 or SQ6 or something like that. So there's like an app you can use on your phone to like mix it a little bit and stuff like that. It is a mono send, so no panning, but that's okay. But my issue is that the XLR cable usually is only just long enough to reach me. And that is it. And it's like making a hypotenuse to the stage. And I don't want to be dragged around on the stage by a hypotenuse. So I'm always like kind of edging as close as I can to the edge of the stage to kind of like let that thing hang on me. And it's like a little bit awkward. And that is why I'm so excited about these little jobbies. The Xvive U45 system. I can plug this bad boy into that XLR cable and it can just live on the side of the stage. And it sends the signal directly to this little receiver pack. And this has a nice sturdy belt loop, probably one of the single greatest belt loops I've ever seen on any wireless receiver. I've used everything from Sennheiser to Shure to these guys. So I've used three different ones. And they're always those like spindly wire ones, like the thin wire. And I hate that. This thing is that's like Home Depot tool belt quality clip. And we love to see it. So I'm no longer tethered to the corner of a stage, and it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. It's also helpful for when you're running like a small gig. Let's say you're at a club or a restaurant or something where what you would normally do is run a feed to a wedge monitor. And maybe, your bassist gets a wedge, you get a wedge, the drummer gets a wedge, everybody gets a wedge. I don't really like wedges because I'm gonna use earplugs anyway because the drummer is so loud. And so I would much rather have my monitor just in my ears and use my in-ear monitors to listen to myself play. It's natural noise cancellation from the custom molds of my in-ears. I get high fidelity monitoring. It's a wonderful deal. So this kind of deal is cool because you can just plug your XLR cable that would go to a wedge directly into this. So your wedge mix from the board, even if it's just the house mix, it's still better to have that in my ears at whatever volume I choose than to have it just hitting me from a wedge. It's almost October and I've had this unit since like the beginning of July, but I went to Europe for 3 weeks and that kind of threw off my schedule a bit, but I put it through some thorough testing. And now I'm pleased today to talk about the good, the bad, and whether or not it's right for you. I gotta say, first things first, what they include in the box surprised me a little bit. You get the receiver and the transmitter, duh, but you also get a two-way USB charging cable, which is super cool. You just plug it into your little Apple transformer that we all have sitting around somewhere in a box, and it's like a USB-A to dual USB-C. Super, super cool. If you forgot to charge your unit before the gig, you can always spend your hour-long drive to the show charging with the backup battery that you panic bought during hurricane prep. Is that just me? Is that just Florida? I think that's the Florida. So charging with an external battery at the gig, I think, is going to be very important because this only has a 5-hour battery life. So if you have an exceptionally long rehearsal day, let's say you are playing a church gig that starts at 7 a.m. and ends at 1 p.m. and you have rehearsal in the morning, you have 3 services, that's a long time for your pack to be like powered on. You really have to remember to power it off between sets, or you have to remember to charge it at some point. So just keep that in mind. 5 hours is enough to do a good gig, but I mean, a bar gig is like 3 hours, right? If you're doing like a 10 to 2 plus breaks, and you've got a sound check at the beginning of all that you're probably running your ears during. And so 5 hours is just about pushing it, but you can always charge with a backup battery. So let's move on to what else is in the box. You've got a carrying case, which this carrying case is like, that's generous. I think calling this a case is generous. This is like a carrying sack, like a little sack. And you know, I think it's fine. It's fine. You know, they included something. I don't think a sack is a good idea though, because there's no divider in there or anything, and this belt clip is gonna really scratch the transmitter. And I guess it keeps it safe from other things, but it's like kind of flimsy, so I don't know how well it would keep it from like accidentally turning on, but this switch is pretty good. Like, I don't think that's gonna accidentally turn on. It is also basically flush to the top. Like, I can't just turn on the switch, even though you can see the top just a little bit there. I would like a better case, or maybe make a custom molded case that is just bigger than these two guys right here, that you can just kind of like seal it into a little zipper. That'd be super cool. I probably have one laying around somewhere that I've had for other gizmos and whatchamacallits. So I might steal one of those whatchamacallit cases. My favorite thing that they included in the box though is a little adapter. I'm gonna go grab it. A little adapter for the XLR 2/4 inch. And that's like one of the tiny flaws of this is that the ground spring, this little button right here, releases the adapter. The ground spring is like kind of hard to get to connect. Okay, there we go. You just kind of have to give it the old 1-2. It's like a Chinese finger trap. If you push that thing in, that might not press up through that adapter the first try. So you may have to kind of work that in a little bit with using this rig a little bit. I have found that to be kind of weird, but this is amazing though. And I didn't have to think about buying an adapter. It just came with one, which is like such an amazing quality of life thing, such an amazing piece of customer service. I don't think this is a very expensive thing to put in the box. And I am exceptionally grateful that they thought of putting this in the box. With a little bit of experience, you kind of realize that adapters can be very useful, and I've needed this thing so many times, and it takes a lot to impress me. And this is like a little gesture. Great foresight on their thought for including that. Very well done, Xvive. So that's all they give you. They give you the noodles, they give you the sack, and they give you the dongle. The very first thing I noticed when I started using this unit is that it's surprisingly like heavy, not so heavy that it's gonna pull your pants down. It's heavy in the sense that it's like reassuringly heavy, like the quality is really good. It's built really solidly, like the construction feels very reassuring. I feel like I could put these in my bag without a case, and they're not going anywhere. These things aren't breaking, so I really appreciate that, because you might step on this transmitter depending on where you have it laying around. So it's kind of nice to know that that's all secure. Let's talk a little bit about reliability. I've used this little unit for like 6 different shows now, and only one time have I ever had to change from channel 1. This operates at the 5.8 gigahertz band, which is very stable. It's been super secure, except at one particular venue, I was getting interference, but it didn't matter what channel I set it to, it was still getting interference. So I'm pretty sure there was something funky with the Wi-Fi there, or maybe it was interacting with other wireless things in a weird way. I'm not entirely sure, but everywhere else I've played, it's been super reliable and pristine. The only strange thing that I've experienced with its audio quality and reliability is when I get far away from the unit, or I get a couple of walls between me and the unit. Let's say I'm leaving the stage to go on a break, I'll get this crazy popping sound in my ears because with the distance, it's like trying to reconnect or something, and it's like turning it on and off rapidly or something, like the connection's just spotty. So as long as you take your ears out or turn off the unit if you're walking away and not using it, that's probably a good idea. because the popping is very loud. I don't think it's a deal breaker at all. It's just like something I've noticed. It never sounds good when your wireless stuff is failing to connect. That's true for any company. So this is just one that's particularly loud, I guess, is what I'm getting at. It transmits at 24-bit, 48 kilohertz, I think, which is higher than CD quality. And it has a crazy signal to noise ratio of 110 dB, dude. That's crazy. So sick. So that is some incredibly clean, pristine, high quality audio coming from this. And this is like under $300. That's crazy good quality. So where's the area of improvement here? Like, what does this not do that I kind of wish that it did? I think stereo is like the only big thing that I'm like, yeah, I wish it was stereo. But I do think the carrying case is kind of a joke. It's not that great. But it's also like a courtesy. I don't think they're selling you a case. Again, look at the price.
Louder, son! Bud Liquor! Our prices have never been lower!
Okay, stop heat!
This is a professional wireless unit with some really smart accessories and a little bag because they heard you like little bags. I don't know. I really wish it was stereo so I could pan back and forth. But remember something here, folks. When you're going for a budget wireless solution, that's still really good quality. Odds are you're probably using a budget soundboard. For like smaller venues or, lower tech soundboards, you're not gonna have a stereo option coming out of the output anyway. So you don't wanna overpack your tech into something, basically like over preparing for something you can't have anyway. Like if you can't do a stereo monitor send, you don't need a stereo pack. I don't know, man. A lot of gigs I play, I just don't have a stereo mix coming out of the board anyway. So mono's fine. And it really isn't that big of a deal. I just wish it was stereo, it'd be kind of fun. The battery life could still potentially be an issue because it's only 5 hours long, but I've never had it die on me at a gig. But I tend to baby things that I know are going to be a problem, like my iPad battery life, and now my wireless in-ear unit, maybe even your phone if you're like mixing stuff. So I do have a backup battery with USB-C cables and the noodles that this came with. And I'll just plug everything in after sound check, make sure it's all topped off, ready for the show. And I've never had a problem afterwards. So I think it's good. As long as you remember to charge it before you start the day, you're probably gonna be okay. The U45 system is wonderful for musicians on a budget who want the wireless freedom, but they don't want to pay for rack unit prices. Or if you're kind of like a freelance guy where you're playing with a bunch of different cover bands and some people have good systems for in-ears, great, you don't even need this. Some people don't have any system at all. This is fantastic. And if you're sick of using like a wired headphone amp that clips onto your belt or something, and just kind of being like stepping through the cables while you're just trying to play your music and have that freedom, I think this is going to be an incredible unit for you. And man, I really think it's the best option at this price point. I dare you in the comments, tell me who the competition is for this at a better price, at better quality. I will wait right here. But if you guys have any questions about my teaching or my music or anything, feel free to hit me up on Instagram or my website. I have a brand new website. That's kind of fun. Go to plantbasedriffs.com and hit me up. Let me know what's going on. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. We got a lot more content coming your way because now I'm back, baby. I'm back and we're doing it. See y'all soon.